Welcome to the Law of One Study Channel. I am Robert, your humble narrator. Let us now speak about polarity. The one great original thought of the infinite creator is love. This creative love is the radiance that appeals to and attracts the service to others oriented or positive seeker. Our third density experience is all about love and about the choice of our path of pursuing love as love of others or love of self. This state of being drawn or attracted to something is polarity. Polarity, as commonly used in the physical world, is that property expressed by bodies having magnetic poles, either positive and attractive or negative and repulsive. This term is defined in terms of the magnetic field of the Earth, the positive pole being designated the north and the negative the south. However, for work in metaphysics, we may understand polarity as any tendency to turn, grow, think, or feel in a certain way because of magnetic attraction or repulsion. As the QO group puts it, just as your battery within your automobile is able to function because of the potential difference between the positive and the negative charge, so is the seeker of truth able to do work in consciousness according to its ability to polarize itself in the positive or service to others fashion in an effective manner. Bruce suggests that the polarity of first density is electrical, and that magnetic polarity is a creature of second density. The difference between electric and magnetic polarities is the number of dimensions involved. Electric is one-dimensional. Magnetic is two-dimensional. As a rough analogy, you could think of it as electricity being the initial concept of polarity in the first density, and magnetic as the concept of polarity in the second density. Moreover, Bruce suggests that a good synonym for polarity is dichotomy. I typically refer to polarity by the word dichotomy, division into two contradictory parts or opinions. Polarity tends to deal with the extremes of poles in opposition rather than contradiction, though I can understand why Raw uses polarity because they are trying to deal with the extremes of service to self and service to others. The big choice of this density. I dislike polarity because it is so tied in to physical properties. You know how it is with esoteric and metaphysical literature. Every word means something different to every seeker. It is so true that words are slippery things, especially when we attempt to take words beyond the bounds of their first use, as with polarity. In talking with my scientist friend, I told him that when I think about polarity, I think in terms of attraction rather than repulsion. That I think of service to others as the attraction to good rather than the repulsion by evil. Bruce replied, "Perhaps you should think in terms of attract and repel rather than repulse, which has emotional connotations. A person who is spiritually attracted to good will naturally be repelled by evil. Note that this is a co-magnetic relationship, not a magnetic one, where like poles, good or evil, attract and opposites repel. Thus, when a positive seeker starts to wander near evil, opposite poles repel, and they are simply pushed away from it. Likewise, when they wander near good, they are pulled closer. Understand also that some people are attracted to evil. It works both ways. Service to others moves towards the good pole, and service to self towards the evil pole. And both words, good, evil, are a matter of perspective. What is good to service to self is evil to service to others, and vice versa. In speaking with Donna the other day, she and I both mused over the simple fact that the same four letters spell live, evil, and veil. It is an interesting bit of fact. We acquire polarity by being attracted to one of the poles of the magnet, the metaphysical magnetic poles being good and evil. Just as an element is pulled to an anode in chemical electrocatalysis, we are pulled to the lodestone of love by our desire to experience and share in this love of the Creator. As beginners in the school of life and love, we are like soft iron, pulled to the magnet but not in any lasting way. However, as we make and remake the choice of love over fear, giving over, taking, and so forth, we gradually impart to ourselves a permanent status as magnet rather than simply magnetized. Once this is achieved, our work is exponentially easier, but it is a long time in coming. And we are never through, within this density, with the making of ethical choices. Don asks those of Ra, questioner, yesterday we were talking about the split that occurs when an entity either consciously or unconsciously chooses the path that leads to either service to others or service to self. The philosophical question of why such a split even exists came up. It was my impression that just as it is in electricity, if we have no polarity in electricity, we have no electricity. We have no action. Therefore, I am assuming that it is the same in consciousness. If we have no polarity in consciousness, we also have no action or experience. Is this correct? I am Ra. This is correct. You may use the general term work. Bruce points out that the first choice that established this dichotomy or polarity was the Creator's. Since the one Creator had to initiate this recursive dichotomy each time we make a decision, right or wrong, we are reenacting the creation process and creating a whole new flow of our life based on that decision. Isn't that what the one Creator did to get the universe going? Make a choice? When we work in consciousness, then, all this work aids in polarization. Questioner, I would ask if it is possible to increase polarity without increasing harvestability. I am Ra. The connection between polarization and harvestability is most important in third density harvest. In this density, an increase in the serving of others or the serving of self will almost inevitably increase the ability of an entity to enjoy a higher intensity of light. Thus, in this density, we may say it is hardly possible to polarize without increasing in harvestability. So, if we are polarizing, we are working towards graduation, a reassuring point. We are not involved in an abstract struggle to understand good and evil. We are rather ethical beings, spiritual entities, who, by being attracted to the polarity of our choice, are assisting and accelerating our spiritual evolution. Don asks again concerning polarity. Questioner: when this major galaxy is formed by the Logos, polarity then exists in a sense that we have electrical polarity. Do we have electrical polarity existing at that time? Is that correct? I am Ra. I accept this as correct, with the stipulation that what you term electrical be understood as not only the one, Larson, stipulated its meaning, but also in what you would call the metaphysical sense. Questioner: are you saying then that we have not only a polarity of electrical charge, but also a polarity in consciousness at that time? I am Ra. This is correct. All is potentially available from the beginning of your physical space-time, it then being the function of consciousness complexes to begin to use the physical materials to gain experience, to then polarize in a metaphysical sense. Those of QO take a look at polarity, this choice of service to others or service to self. When the one Creator divided itself in order that it might further know itself, the division which took place became likened unto an illusion, for the result was the creation and is moment by moment the creation as you know it, and far beyond what you know. As the Creator, which is simplicity itself, became that which seemed complex, the possibility of two means of traveling through the creation or each portion of the creation became apparent. That which moved in resonance with unity became that which you know as the service to others path, that which is radiant and expresses the light of the one Creator to all about it, for all is seen the same as self, that is, the one Creator. The service to self path became possible when the first division in third density consciousness occurred due to the placement of what you have called the veil of forgetting between the conscious and the unconscious minds. This intensification of the illusion of separation provided to the Creator a more intense and purified means for that portion of itself which may be seen as magnetic to function. Thus, the service to self path is one which draws unto itself the light of the Creator in all portions of the creation about the entity which has chosen this means of knowing itself and of evolving towards the same Creator. Thus, it is the same light which powers both paths in opposite fashion, or so it would seem within the saga of polarity. For as those of the service to others path give forth the light to all about them, it would seem that this action is in opposition to the service to self path, which absorbs the light and uses it for its own purposes. Yet, in truth, it is the Creator which provides the light for both paths, and the same Creator which receives the light as a result of the action that is potentiating upon each path. One point about polarity has bothered those who write to me through the years, perhaps more than any other, and Peter puts it very well. I have always felt that there was a need for a balance of these two types of behavior, service to self and service to others. However, there are times when an action is for my own benefit. but others can often benefit from this action in a direct, experiential way. If I plant beautiful trees and flowers in my yard for my personal enjoyment and enhancement of my living situation, others also can appreciate and enjoy the beauty. The opposite is true if the same plants and flowers were donated to the community to be planted in a park. It would benefit everyone, including myself. Am I missing something here? These seeming contradictions is typical of spiritual matters. Yes, if one is serving others, one cannot help serving the self, for not only does it feel pleasing to polarize towards love, it also is a spiritual truth that anything that one gives to the creation comes back 100 and 1,000-fold. Further, if we serve ourselves, we end up serving others because all is one, both ourselves and other selves being the Creator. It truly is a matter of preference and desire, which way one decides to seek. There are very, very few negatively oriented wanderers here. The risk of forgetting process being too great for selfish souls. So if we feel we are wanderers, we are almost certainly one of those who has worked previously in the positive polarity. Seekers in general, as they awaken, are overwhelmingly a positive polarity and wish to polarize further. So it is well to accept that there is no simple, logical simplification of this spiritual process. It is as it is. Those of QO say, we have used the terms the way of that which is to describe the path of the positive polarity and the path of that which is not to describe the path of negative polarity. Both paths reach the same Creator. What is that which is? Unity. What is that which is not? Separation. The positive polarity chooses to see all as worthy of love and care, to be given to without expectation of return. The negative polarity sees all others as needing to be controlled and protected for their own good by the self, according to the needs and desires of the self. To love without demand or to control is the choice of this density. Each of you is a being of pure light. Each of you has complete freedom to choose the way in which you will manifest that light. All the so-called evils of the world are but love distorted. We encourage you to find ways to choose love over fear, light over darkness, surrender over control. For the attempt to control is at heart service to self. Know as deeply as you can and as often as you can who you are and where you are going, and for the rest, trust destiny. Most seekers, as I said, already yearn for being more polarized in service to others. The times in my life where I truly give to others or truly am in service to other beings are the moments in which the joy, the love, and the union vibrate in my whole body. Are the meaningful moments of my life because true joy and gratitude are felt in my heart? I want to expand this experience and be able to polarize more towards the service to others path. This process is a difficult one, or certainly can seem so. QO speaks eloquently of the hardships of the spiritual polarizer.
This concludes the recording on side A. Please turn over to side B of the tape.